Good evening, everybody. This is Texas Biker Radio number 349. My name is Mel Popeye Moss, my co host, Mel OG Robbins. We are with Sons of Liberty Riders MC, and we are sponsors of this show each and every week with a few help of our friends. And good evening, Mel. How are you doing?
Doing good. Got to tell you, I'm still looking for my Betsy Ross T-shirt.
There you go. Did you have a good July 4th?
Nobody, yeah. I can't believe no one's come out with any Betsy Ross T-shirts yet.
Hey, you know,
Missed opportunity.
that most certainly is. And you know, they can put those T-shirts out overnight nowadays. Just saying. Just saying. And of course, Donald Trump, he had his military July 4th in Washington, D.C. Everything went off without a hitch. And I even saw some aircraft flying that I worked on, you know. Kind of.
Did it get much press coverage? I saw very, very little of it
Well,
relative to the media.
Depend on where you turned the channel to. If it's NBC, ABC, MSNBC, all those CNN, those quacks, fake news organizations, they would be moaning that Donald Trump has militarized the 4th of July event in Washington, D.C. And they acted like that's never happened before, but that's not true.
Well, that cracks me up. I mean, the 4th of July is a military thing.
That's true. That's true. But
it's all about some whoop ass on the British.
Exactly. John Kennedy had a military presence at his inauguration ceremony in Washington, D.C., full of parade. And guess what led the parade in that one? It was a damn big ass ICBM missile.
Yeah.
And they're fussing about a few tanks.
Yeah, a few tanks and a flyover.
Really. But it was interesting, you know, and it looked to be fun, and the firework display was incredible. And of course, they had firework displays here in Arlington too. And Mel, I sent you a picture of a car that stopped on the exit ramp of 360, and they're watching the fireworks on the exit ramp of a highway, and their kids get out of the car. I mean,
just more evidence of cleansing the gene pool.
Good Lord. But yeah, I did manage to get a picture of that those automobiles, and you know, they should be given some kind of stupid award or something.
But you know, the president of our chapter in New Mexico put a live video on last night of the fireworks over there, the grand finale. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. And I guess he lives in an area in Albuquerque where you can kind of look down on the valley, you know. And it looked pretty awesome.
I'll bet it did. I'll bet it did, man. And it's pretty damn hot out there.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, Mel, you ready to start talking about some biker stuff? Maybe how about some local stuff?
Sounds good.
Okay. We're going to get this one up front because we have video that we're going to be showing our audience, and this video is where we decided to go to the Fort Worth Police Department and ask them about all the profiling that's going on, specifically about profiling where bikers are being taken to jail for minor traffic violations, like failing to put up a turn signal, failing to maybe put your foot on the ground, you know, your license may be partially covered by a reflector. I mean, the list runs on and on. up and to including, hey, they tried to run. Well, no, they didn't try to run. They were trying to get to a safe place to pull over. And as we've seen here in Texas, police officers, civilians, everybody knows that we've had people hit while being pulled over on the side of the highway, either for vehicle breakdowns or even police officers outside the car using their radar gun, and it's resulted in fatalities on the side of the highway. Now, as we engage in our talks with the Fort Worth PD, we're going to ask that not only are we going to ask what's going on and why bikers are being taken to jail when a ordinary citizen would be just issued a ticket. Regardless of who they are, Mel, whether they're a 1% club, a no percent club, or whatever they're wearing. If they're going to pull them over in a safe place, and if you're going to stop them for a minor traffic violation, write them a ticket and send them on their way instead of taking them to jail and taking them to court. I mean, these people have families too. And I told their public relations officer, Officer Buddy, I told him that. But he's promised to find out. He's promised to find out if I get him the information of when the stops were made, who, what, when, and where, where it was at, what time, officer's name or badge number. We need that kind of information so we can ask about the traffic stop. And we expect a fair and honest answer. We'll see. We'll see. This should get interesting. And it was brought up today. It was brought up, well, heck, they're just going to target these guys. They're going to take that information and target them. Well, now, we've been doing this for a while now, and nobody's been targeted by law enforcement. That just hasn't happened. And Mel, if it does happen, if that were to happen, oh man, that I don't think they want to go there.
No,
for doing
no,
that. What do you think?
They're only making the case for profiling.
Yes. Yes. Because I was told by Officer Buddy that they don't have meetings. You'll hear it in this video we're fixing to play. That they don't have meetings, and he's never heard anybody talk about going out and targeting bikers to pull over and write tickets or take them to jail.
Well, lest we forget, they cannot take you to jail if you're speeding or you have an open bottle.
Yeah. Go figure. Go figure. Well, Mel, we're going to let our audience watch that video right now, and we'll come back after it's over and have a little bit of discussion. Okay? Here we go, everybody.
Hey guys, you must be Popeye.
I am.
Hey, my name's Buddy.
Hey there.
Geezer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Buddy. How can we help you guys?
Well,
This is Popeye and Geezer.
our motorcycle club, we operate as a news organization for
I'm
bikers,
filming.
and we also we're political activists, and we represent all bikers. And when somebody asks us a question, we say, well, we'll go ask.
Okay.
And so what we have going on now is I guess it's the gang unit. I guess they're taking bikers in here and arresting them over minor traffic violations, like turn signal, you didn't put your foot down long enough, you didn't do this, that. But anyway, they're getting hauled to jail. they're getting fined, and regardless whether who they are, they've got jobs, they've got families, and and so anyway, we thought we'd come and ask, what's going on? Is it because of CCP 61.02, the criminal code procedure, all this stuff? I mean, we study this stuff, we know it.
Good, yeah, everybody needs to be educated, that's for sure.
That's exactly right, and we are.
Yeah.
And so, some controversy over the CHL, on the application, it does not ask you whether you are a criminal, have ever been a criminal, or a member of a street gang.
Or planning on it.
Of course, right. Or since we know that motorcycle clubs are not street gangs, not in the sense of real street gangs.
Sure.
So anyway, we thought we would come and just ask.
Okay. Well, I would, to address your question and answer it properly, I need to speak with gang and just see if they're running some kind of initiative or something like that. I can tell you, I used to work in traffic, and what we try to do is keep our citizens safe. If there's people that are up to no good, in other words, that they're looking for trouble, they've gone around, whether it be the same house several different times, and there's so many scenarios you can put out there. What we try to do is not have victims in our city. Nobody wants to be, you don't want anything stolen from you. You don't want whatever the crime may be. But so what I'm saying is that it depends on each and every situation. So if you're asking me to address all traffic stops or all stops for bikers, I can't do that.
We know that hey, the average person out here gets stopped. He's not going to jail for
turn signal.
Failing a turn signal. He's going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
And really, that's what should be happening here.
Yeah.
In my view, because I am a political wonk.
Sure.
I believe in the Constitution.
And I can't speak for all of them, but some of them were on their way home from work.
Yeah.
And they
and it is Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is Fort Worth. I'll have to ask.
It's not the only one. Parker County's doing the same thing, and we just left there.
Okay.
So I mean, we're just said, hey, let's go ask.
No, you might as well, right? I mean, if you're curious about something, you might as well go ask.
It doesn't hurt anything to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And, and just say, hey, look, we've got this stuff going on, and everybody looks to us and for answers. And so, we try to give them answers.
Well, I can tell you this, and going back to my traffic days, I came out of DWI, and I will tell you, we have never sat in a roll call or anything like that to say, let's go stop any bikers for everything and take them to jail. And not just bikers, but anybody. We don't want to take people to jail for just minor violations.
They overhear that while they're sitting in the squad cars. We're told to do this. Blah, 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 blah. This,
Well, I would need to know where that information is coming from so I'll know who to actually address, because I mean, it's okay to say it randomly, but if you have solid stuff you can give me and I can at least ask and gather that information for you, that's what I'd love to do. I'd love to get the question answered for you. There's no reason you should be curious about something in our city and not have an answer for it, and I'd love to give you that answer. If you know somebody that got stopped and you can give me the site that had this actual circumstance happen, they got stopped, simple violation, and they cash bonded them, which is what it's called.
Yeah,
and if you have that.
When they went before the judge, sitting there and he's going, I don't even know what I'm charging you with.
Yeah.
You've been here overnight.
Yeah.
One of them got out on time served. The other one had to pay $141.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Because, and again, I can only speak from my point of view when I was in traffic and able to stop vehicles, all the time. Not just for simple stuff, but for actual traffic violations or whatever the violation may be. Driving while intoxicated, whatever. But I can tell you, we have never been put on an assignment to just go stop and take them to jail. As a matter of fact, when we cash bond somebody, which is what you're talking about, we actually have to get like a sergeant's approval or something like that. Now, I've never worked in gang, but you're telling me it's specifically the gang unit? Is that what you're saying? Okay, and so what I would need
kind
of like...
this particular case 2 weeks ago, that's...
What I would recommend you do, I'm going to give you my phone number, okay? And what I would recommend you doing is talk to the person that actually got stopped and give me that citation number or that citation so I can look and see who was the one that actually pulled them over and see if there was a reason behind it. Because right now, you're giving me information that I don't have anything solid in front of me, and I just have to speak on it.
Hearsay and all that.
No, and I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying I want to give you an educated answer and a proper answer.
Let me say this right now.
Sure.
There is no motorcycle club out there, any of them, that is asking anyone to harm a police officer ever. I've talked to them all. We talk to them all the time. And there's nobody advocating that kind of stuff like the BLM. That group should be arrested.
Okay.
I mean, because they do advocate that.
Okay.
And it's just, they understand you've got a job to do. They understand the scope of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've talked to them all.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
And it's just, and they are getting tired of spending their time in court.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
Yeah. Well, that's the best I can do for you is to give you my phone number or my email and have you give me that information so I can actually dig into it. And I'll give you my card as well, sir. It is Popeye, even on your card. Yeah. Even on your card. Fantastic. Let me give you my card.
His phone ringer is Popeye the Sailor Man.
Is it? I may call you just to see if it is. Okay, sir. This is my name here, just how I introduce myself, buddy.
Okay.
And that's going to be my mobile phone number right there, and that's my email address. What I would love for you to do is get the information you're talking about, and let me just see the citation, or if I could at least know the unit that pulled him over, and then that way, I'd like the citation because it gives me an actual date and offense and time, and now I can actually look into it as opposed to just saying, well, here's what I think on the situation. I don't want to just tell you what I think because I'm probably not going to be the ones pulling you guys over. I want to speak to the actual unit that might be doing that or that you feel targeted, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? And so I really like to get you that information as opposed to just guessing. So hope that helps you out.
I understand that, per CCP 61.02, everybody is required to participate in the database thing and to either be in statewide data, engaged in that, or have one of their own. So, I mean, we get that. We understand what that's all about.
Okay.
But being taken to jail for a traffic violation, really, I think that's beyond the pale.
Okay.
I mean, they understand being profiled.
Okay.
They don't understand being hauled to jail.
Right.
And cost them time, money, everybody.
Well, in the same fact, too, I can tell you, and I'm just going to be flat out honest with you, Popeye. I say this with all respect. Never have any of my supervisors or never any of the guys on my team said, let's go stop all the bikers or let's go stop this. That's a great thought, but we don't do that. And I hope you understand my heart on that,
right.
Because I've been in these roll calls. I've been in traffic details where we're doing specific details. But the people that we're looking for we're looking for the actual violation, not the person. It doesn't matter how you look or what you're driving. We want to stop you from going in excessive speed or driving with lights off or something like that. We look for the violations.
We see the textures. We get a good look at them all day long, every day.
Okay. Well, so do I. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And so if you can give me that information, man, I'll be more than happy to provide you with that. Absolutely, sir. And you got my number on there, right? Yeah. So please holler at me. Get that information for me. And as soon as you get it to me, man, I'll do my best to get it to you as quick as I can because there's nothing wrong with you guys coming in here, having a question, and then getting a solid, true answer on that. So I'd like to get that for you. Okay?
All right.
Thanks again, Popeye. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
You guys, anything else?
That'll do right now.
You're about right. Thank you so much.
Interesting video, Mel. What'd you think?
Well, I thought it was, it was fun to watch. I think the officers were on their very best behavior.
Oh yes.
I really have to commend them. They were polite and seemed like they wanted to take care of your questions and things like that. So I found it very interesting. Usually things like that can go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Immediately hostile or the way it did, and I'm glad it went the way it did. You know, it more of that needs to happen.
He said he would get us answers, and we're going to give him every chance there is to give us some answers. And you know, like I said, I think there was 3 bikers in this particular incident. 2 of them were accused of running from the police officers, and I understand that's not what happened. They said they're just trying to get to a safer place to pull over. Now, you know, I wasn't there, but we expect everybody to be truthful about what went down. And I have no reason not to believe these guys, because we've seen the behavior of the Fort Worth Gang Unit. We've seen the behavior. And, you know, we're going to be taking a look at this. Understand, we have let them know that somebody's looking into this. Somebody's asking questions. And it doesn't matter which club it is. I mean, we already did that with Vagos MC members. That day, we were asking questions. And, of course, you heard in the video where I told him motorcycle clubs are not street gangs. And Mel, I think he agreed with me. Just by his comment right after I said that.
Yeah, I found him very agreeable.
And you know, really, I think most law enforcement officers, even the law enforcement officers in the gang unit in Fort Worth and beyond, knows that's the case. That's the case. And so we've got all this stuff going on. Let me tell you, we went to Parker County too, out there to Sheriff Fowler's playground, and went in to visit them. Now, when we first got there, Geezer and I, they told us that, hey, Danny, the public relations officer, the lady, was on the phone. We said, okay, we'll be glad to wait. So Geezer and I mill around there for a few minutes, hanging out, reading all the stuff on the walls, all the accolades that they've gotten over the years. And so, of course, Geezer and I had that discussion about the building being named after the sheriff, and he's not even dead yet. Just saying. So anyway, a few minutes later, we go back to the window. We said something to the lady. She said, oh, Sheriff, I guess that would be Deputy Danny, the public relations officer, has left the building.
Made his escape.
Real nice. Okay, real nice. We say, okay, man, do you know when she will be back? No, I do not know when she will return. And so, you know, I felt at that point we might be getting a runaround. Wasn't totally sure about that. But that's when we decided we'll go have a small break. Went to a local restaurant on the square. Spent about an hour milling around there. Went back. Oh, no, she's still gone. Okay. So it's an interesting meal on our way out of the building, and on our way to Fort Worth, there's a couple of sheriff deputies. Yep, they were getting out of their vehicles, and of course they had on plaid shirts and cowboy hats and had their pistols strapped on. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, and their Mel, let me tell you, their bellies stick out past their belt buckles. I'm just saying. Shape up, boys. Shape up. So,
yeah.
So anyway, we left out of there, went to Fort Worth, and of course you know about Officer Buddy. But even prior to that, Mel, did you see the news article by by Police Chief Salazar in Ferris, Texas.
Oh yeah, that was a beaut.
You know,
Just a beaut.
you know, I find it amazing that the community press there in Ellis County would turn over their newspaper to a police chief that really not all that informed about the TABC. And of course, he calls the TABC to ask them questions, and they get him to do the dirty deed himself because they know that they can't do it. They can't tell a restaurant's customers what they should be wearing. But yet, if you got somebody stupid enough to go do it, like the police chief Salazar in Ferris, Texas, why not send him on that mission to make threats that they will call a TABC if they allow bikers in with cuts? So they're basically telling them they can't have bikers in there by proxy, I guess you'd say, right?
Oh, it's out and out extortion.
Yeah.
They're threatening their business license if they allow anybody in wearing a cut with any club colors.
Yeah. So so that would be the Ferris Bar and Grill that he was concerned about. That you know, and of course he had to mention there was I think they said a church just down the street. Oh yeah. Gonna throw the children out there as if something was going to happen to them. And of course, we know how bikers are about children. There's nothing going to happen to any children. Matter of fact is, they would be protected by bikers. But then again, it's all about people that have bought into the narrative, right?
Absolutely. You know, I would dare say there have probably been more young women molested by law enforcement than there ever have been by bikers.
You know, I would think that's true. You know, of course, we've got that one DPS officer that couldn't keep their hands off a couple of young ladies, just barely out of their teenage years.
Yeah, seems to have a nipple ring.
That's right.
Fetish.
Yeah, couldn't keep his hands off their boobies. Just saying. It goes on. You know, I mean, we'll see where all this goes, but we're definitely busy. We've got all these cities now, Ferris, Ellis County, all this stuff that's going on here in the North Texas area, because this seems now to be the epicenter of all the profiling and all the harassment. Because really, in the end, that's what most of this is harassment. Otherwise, the police officers, when they stop, wouldn't be saying, "No, we're not harassing you. We're not harassing you." Well, by God, what are you doing? If you're taking me to jail for not giving a turn signal, I mean, what is that? What is that other than pure harassment? And you know, what we're asking is, hey, what's going on, and who's making the decisions on this? Now, I did say in the video, hey, is all this because of CCP 61.02? And of course, that brought a grin out of him that we even knew that.
Yeah, I saw that. He really busted into a smile
Yeah.
when you quoted that.
Yeah.
I
So
think you took him aback a little bit.
Well, I wanted to put them on notice that we're not dummies, that we understand this stuff, and I guarantee you we we understand the gang assessment report probably better than most police officers do, and especially this dummy out there in Ferris, Chief Salazar. But we'll continue to investigate, because that's what this has turned into now, is an investigation, and it's going to be of each city that's doing this mess. Each city, regardless of what CCP 61.02 says. I mean, Mel, there are plenty of bad laws on the books that they don't enforce. And this should be one of them.
Well, there's an interesting situation when it comes to gangs.
Mm-hmm.
You can go by the loose definition. I mean, if you look up the definition of a gang, it's a group of individuals that are organized around a hierarchy and brotherhood and or sisterhood,
Mm-hmm.
That claim territory, claim control of a territory. And if you want to go by the loose definition, and I don't really agree with this one, but the loose definition says if they commit criminal activities individually or collectively. Now, I don't know how you can qualify a gang because you've got a bad apple in there.
Right.
But the definition I just gave you would fit any law enforcement agency any place in the country.
That's right.
They're organized in a hierarchy. They have a brotherhood. They claim territory. And they do have individuals that conduct criminal activity.
Yes, they do.
That's a gang. If we take the more, I hate to use the words rigid, but a more seemingly intelligent definition in my mind would be if that organization collectively is engaged in crime or criminal activities.
Right.
That's what you think of when you think of a gang. There are no motorcycle clubs that I can think of,
Mm-hmm.
and we know a lot of them that would qualify as a gang. Do they have some bad apples in there that probably sell dope? Maybe you're involved in a little prostitution or whatever? Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But name me police departments across this country that aren't engaged in the same thing, where narcotics evidence isn't disappearing, or dope dealers aren't getting jacked up, or prostitutes aren't getting jacked up.
Right.
For money and or favors. Same thing, same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Every organization has a lot of good people in it and some bad apples, and every one of us are trying to root out those bad apples and get them the hell out of our organizations.
Right. That's exactly right. We have a rally coming up July 27th called the Bikers' Rights Rally. And, it's about the profiling that's going on, the confusion with the CHLs that do not ask you if you are a criminal, a gang member, or ever have been. It's just not in the application. Now, if you have gotten a CHL and you end up on that gang database, and we've already pointed out before, you could end up in that database and not ever have been in trouble with the law at all. So we've decided to have this rally, and it's in support of a biker that is a 24-year Army veteran, a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient, a 2-time Bronze Star recipient, who's been into every hellhole this country has sent our military over the last 24 years. And I find it incredible that a DPS officer was able to jerk his constitutional rights right out from underneath him and jerk his CHL away without knowing who he is or what he's all about. Or, you know, he's now using a database that's taken by biased individuals. And he can make that decision on the spot. And you have no right to defend yourself on the spot. The damage has been done the minute he does that. Or in another biker's case, he was told by the police officer that he was going to be put into a database because of what he was wearing and who he might associate with, without knowing anything about him or his past. He's basing it on what he's freaking wearing. And I just find that incredible to give those police officers that kind of power right there on the spot. Because the damage has already been done right there. And that affects so much. It can affect so much in your daily life. Especially like if you have a job with a security clearance. I mean, they're messing with people's livelihoods and their families. And I think it's wrong. I know it's wrong. And they should be ashamed of themselves for what they're doing. Because they're not out there chasing the real criminals that are perpetrating the crimes. We've got Blood Alley going on up here in the Metroplex. There's shootings every night because of young gang members. It's incredible what we see going on. We're approaching Chicago-style shootings in mass. And police departments whine that they don't have enough personnel. That's not our fault. Talk to your city fathers that are, they're spending their money elsewhere. Or just maybe they're just misappropriating everything by the police departments. And maybe you want to make a comment. I said a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just amazing how law enforcement is reacting when you've got a lot of crime going on in the cities, and they see a biker going down the street, and that's low-hanging fruit. Immediately, they want to go after the biker because it's easy.
Yes.
And they want to do profiling and, waste a bunch of time while crimes are going on down the street. So, yes. They need to realign what the hell their priorities are. And like that officer in Fort Worth said, they should be out there taking care of the public to make sure no harm is coming to anybody.
Right.
A biker traveling down the road and failing to signal and changing lanes or whatever doesn't need to be taken to jail, but the thug that just stabbed somebody or hit him over the head to try and rob him ought to be what they're looking for.
You know, Mel, I mean, there's a lot of causes of the crime we're seeing. And, you know, and one of them is the drugs that are on our streets. And, you know, really, if it was bikers, they would be in the news every night. Every time one of them was caught, they would be in the news. They'd be talking about the
big news.
They'd be talking about the big bust. They'd be talking about this. They'd be talking. It's just not happening. It's not there. It's all freaking hype on paper. And that's the truth of it. That is the truth of it. And we're going to point it out going forward. We're going to be very public about this stuff. We'll probably at some point before the end of the year end up in front of the Tarrant County Courthouse. And what we need everybody to do is participate. Don't sit back and let somebody else do it. Know your state and federal representative. That means your state legislators and also your congressmen and women. Make sure they know who you are. Wear your cut and wear it with pride. And help wherever you can, even if it's just sharing. Help. Now, you got anything in closing? It's Friday night.
Other than a continuation of the Harley-Davidson warranty issue, no, and we can do that next session if you'd like, or do it now.
But do it right now. Let's talk about it.
Okay. What everyone out there needs to know is if you have a Harley-Davidson 2017 or newer, you may have one hell of a problem with your warranty. And let me talk to you about it this way. Every one of us, when we buy a Harley, I know when I bought my 2016, I was riding down the road and I thought I was on a John Deere lawnmower, because that's how they come from the factory. That's the way they're tuned. That's what the exhaust sounds like, because it's all EPA controlled. So what's some of the first things most of us do? At a very minimum, we go get some new slip-ons. I, on the other hand, at a very minimum, when it's a touring bike, I bought a Street Glide, I'll also change out the headers to get rid of those catalytics. And in doing that, you need to get a fuel pack and retune your motorcycle. Well, back in 2016, if you'll remember the big hullabaloo with the EPA when they went after Harley-Davidson, claiming that there couldn't possibly be those tens of thousands of motorcycles out there buying the Screaming Eagle racing module for off-road purposes. Most of those bikes, they were sure were not off-road. Now, we all know the EPA went after Harley because they were after money.
Yes.
They could have just as easily gone after Vance and Hines and some of the other outfits that put out the slip-ons and the fuel packs, the command modules, etc., and they didn't because they don't have the bucks that Harley does. So Harley had to come to an agreement with the EPA, and in 2016, They agreed that they would not sell any more of the Screaming Eagle tuners. And they also agreed, now this is one thing that a lot of the public wasn't aware of, they also agreed that they would void warranties. They would lock out VIN numbers on warranties that didn't meet EPA requirements. Now, the EPA, or I should say Harley, actually advised its dealers across the nation in 2016 that this was going to come about. Now, and it was for models 2017 and newer. Now, this means if you put new slip-ons on that are either straight through or radically improved, shall I put it that way, baffles so that you get a decent sound and you actually end up sucking more air through the engine to where it really needs to be retuned, you are in violation of the EPA regs.
Oh, God.
Now, in 2016 and the subsequent 2017 years and going into 2018, Harley did cooperate to some degree with the EPA and did pick up on some violations. Now, mind you, in the meantime, Harley is selling all this shit. You can buy Vance and Hines, you can buy Fuel Pack 3s, you can buy, Power Commanders, you can buy all that shit from a Harley dealer, and they'll put it in. So, they've been putting all this stuff in, and unless they wanted to really pick up on it with some really radical bike, most of us were able to fly under the radar. Now, with a 2016 and older, we don't have to worry about it. But those with a 2017 and newer, damn sure have to worry about it. Well, here's the big fly in the ointment.
Uh-oh.
This year, now, when you take your bike in to have it, like, say you put a new sound system in it or whatever, and they jack in their tech service software to look at your bike, there's an upgrade in the tech service software this year that will immediately detect any changes in the tuning of that bike. If you put slip-ons on, if you've gone to a stage 1, you are proverbially screwed. It will lock out your VIN number at Harley-Davidson because all this shit is controlled, goes all the way back into Harley to its database. It locks out your VIN number, and your service tech can't do shit about it. He may be able to, if you've got a serious warranty problem, he may be able to call the factory and discuss it with them, but I certainly wouldn't hold my breath that they're going to release that warranty under your VIN number. It's this new upgrade in their tech software that has got everybody screwed. So, you can buy some Harley kits that will improve the performance to some degree on your Harley, but they can't take it past a certain point or your VIN gets locked out on warranty. And trust me, if you stick any Vance and Hines on there with improved exhaust or any of the others, you're going to blow your warranty, and it also blows out your extended warranty that you bought on your powertrain.
And what models is that again?
2018 and newer.
Holy
2017 and newer.
It's making my 2015 Street Glide look better and better.
Now, if you want to read more about what the hell's going on there, it's in this last month's issue of American Iron under the Tech Questions and Answers section. it goes into some pretty good depth as to what in the hell's going on. And I guess the real issue in my mind here is if you go in and you buy upgrades for your bike and you've got a 2017 or newer, the dealer should be telling you, look, if you do this, you're going to void your warranty, even if we put it in.
That's exactly right.
The odds are, if you maintain that bike well and you change the oil frequently like you're supposed to and you take care of all the other stuff, you probably will never have a powertrain issue because Harley's been putting out some pretty good stuff. So, you know, the odds that you'll need to use your warranty for those issues are probably slim, but you need to know what's going on.
Yep.
So there you have it.
There you go. Man.
Next session, we'll talk about your hydraulic fluid.
Oh, God. All right. Anyway, Mel, we're approaching our time limit. Everybody, remember, as this stuff keeps happening in our community, we've got to be bold. We've got to be bold.
Push back.
Push back. Let's go. Let's get it done. Everybody, have a great evening. Have a great rest of your July 4th weekend. And we'll see you again next week for Texas Biker Radio number 350.
Wow.
Wow. No kidding.
Okay. Goodbye.
Good evening, Mel. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Ride safe.